Good evening. We're recording this on Friday, March 5th. I want to review what happened this week, and this, of course, was an important week because it was election week. There were a number of non-binding advisory questions, and essentially the purpose for those questions is to try to generate an understanding of how people feel about some important issue. And by progressive taxation, what I mean is a tax program which asks those individuals and institutions who can best afford to pay taxes to start paying their fair share, rather than placing the tax burden on working people, elderly people, or poor people, which is what we do in this country and in this state to a large degree. And unless the legislature is prepared to deal with that, what you're going to see is either higher taxes for people who can't afford to pay it, or no funding for desperately needed programs. Do you understand what I mean? Certainly there is a very serious discussion in our city now about the issue of development. What kind of development do we want? What don't we want? The truth is we don't have a strong enough zoning requirements now to prevent the kind of development that we don't want. I and many of us in the progressive movement here in Burlington are strongly supporting and actively working for Jesse Jackson to become the next president of the United States. As most of us know, this is an almost all-white state. And what that showed is that Jackson could do well among whites. He has taken that message, and I've heard him already speak about it in the South, where he's campaigning for Super Tuesday, mentioning the results that he received in Minnesota, in Maine, and in Vermont, all very largely white states. And the point that he's making down south is that he has the support not only of black people, but of whites as well. I am called confrontational. Everything that I do, people, my opponents say, God, there's nothing else to do. He wants to get into a fight. That's really not the case. What we have done, what I and the people in the progressive movement have done, have had the courage to go forward in a number of different areas. And when you seriously go forward, trying to fight for the rights of working people, or poor people, or elderly people, by definition, you generate opposition from the ruling class, from the establishment, who wants to put a stop on it. I see no problem with the people at local government level debating national and international issue. If you think that the function of Channel 3 or the Burlington Free Press is to educate you about the world in which you're living, it's not. It really is not. And that's the nature of private media in general. The function of private media is to make money for the people who own the media. It is a business. We will be on tonight, if they give us a great deal of time. What will we have? 30 seconds or 60 seconds to analyze the works that we have. Well, they got bored, they're leaving. All right. If you are a serious public official, how do you deal with the complex issues that your city faces or your state faces, and you look at that camera and you say, oh God, I got 30 seconds to do it? And we've decided to get out of City Hall, get out of the office, and we're here on the first floor of the Burlington Square Mall. And I think what we'll do is have some informal discussions with Vermonters as they walk past us and as we can grab them. So here we go. And what is
Shannon.
Shannon, do you live in Burlington, Shannon?
Yep.
Okay, so how are things going with you?
Pretty good. I was just wondering, my mother had this idea for an indoor-outdoor amusement park by the waterfront, and I wanted to know if anybody was going to do anything about it.
And I think your mother's idea is a very good idea. The first thing that we have to do, though, before we could do something like that, is to make sure that we own the land. That's one of the concerns that we have. At the present moment, we don't own a lot of the land downtown. It's owned by the railroad. And one of the things that we're trying to do now is to figure out which land we should buy and how much we should pay for it. So we're working on that, but I think your mother's idea is a very good idea. And I congratulate you for giving her all these good ideas.